Okay, I'm gonna quickly do a little video about the whole Baltimore situation, based on what I know, which is very little. I don't know the details of what happened to this Freddie Gray guy, and it doesn't really matter. Simple fact of the matter is, dude broke his back in the custody of police, and he needed medical attention, and he died because of that. That's completely wrong. I'm not condoning that. And you have a right to be pissed off. The black community in Baltimore and across the nation has a right to be pissed off over certain things that happen to them that I can't understand because I'm not black. I've never been black, as you can clearly see. But when a group of people, and it's usually the smaller group of people that do the major damage, when you resort to the violence that you're resorting to, it takes away from your message. It distorts what you're trying to do. It eliminates it. Because the people that are on the outside, me, individual, we see what you're trying to say, but you're saying it all stupid and wrong. It takes away from what should be said, and it's wrong. If it was a it's wrong either way. But if it was a racially motivated situation, that makes it worse. But either way, it's wrong. And then to go and destroy your own community, that's what baffles my brain. Like, you're destroying your neighborhood. You ain't destroying my neighborhood. All I'm seeing is some stupid people out there destroying their own neighborhood. It doesn't make sense. It's wrong. You take away from your message. Be pissed off. Absolutely, be pissed off. Have protests. Have sit-ins. Have sit-outs. Yeah, have all those things. Do the Hands Across Baltimore thing. Do whatever you gotta do. Have marches. But rioting and looting and burning and destroying, you take away from what you're trying to get done. You eliminate what you're trying to accomplish. Because then you're the criminal. You have become the criminal. And it pisses me off. Because as much as I want to root for you, and as much as I want justice to be done, that's not justice. That's not justice. That's stupidity. It's vengeful. It's ignorant. That's what it is. And if you want to change how people look at your culture, and I'm not saying that the black culture is bad, because it's not. I have black friends. I love black history. I think that this country was built on the back of the black man. I totally believe that. But when you continuously do things, and I'm not saying it's the large group, because I think it's a very small, minute, small group of individuals that do these things, but it gets reported on so much, and it's so widely seen by us white folks that don't know shit about the black community. So then, like Stephen A. Smith said on ESPN yesterday, that it's marginalized, because most people only see the few. They don't see the many doing good things. They see the few doing the bad things. So then they get brainwashed into thinking that that's how all people are. That's how all black folks are. When something bad happens, they all go do this shit. And they don't. Most of you people, like the mama whooping her kid's ass yesterday on TV because he was involved in that shit. That's what more parents should be doing. Whooping a motherfucker's ass when they're doing shit like that. I commend that lady, because she did the right thing. She went out, she found her child when she saw that little son bitch doing that crap, and she whooped him for it. Beautiful. But, like I said, you take away from what you're trying to accomplish, because it gets marginalized by the people that only see the bad stuff. And then it takes over everything. It dilutes everything. and then you lose what you're trying to get done. You lose your story. You lose your message. You lose your fight. Because you then have become a criminal like the cops that did the stupid shit that they did. I mean, that's what it is. That's the way it works, because inevitably you lose the game and you could lose your life. And is your life worth the burning of a building? And even if you don't die, you go to jail for however long and use that many years of your life. Is your life worth the burning of that building or that stealing of that stuff? No, it's not. All lives are important. All lives. But you lose your fight. You lose your argument because you act like a moron. You know, the simple fact of the matter is that I don't have white guilt. I don't have it. I didn't oppress nobody. I didn't enslave nobody. I'm not guilty of it. Never did, never will. I don't like it. I don't like what the history of some of our countrymen have done. I don't like the police proportionately killing black people more proportionately. I mean, it's a smaller percentage, but there's a lot smaller percentage of blacks in this country than there is white. So you got to compare those two things, you know, to make it a little more even. And it's still, again, I can't put myself in that position because I've never been. So I don't want to take anything away from that fact, but it all comes back to when you act criminal. It takes away from the positive part of your message. It just does. It destroys it. You don't win anything by looting and robbing and stealing and burning your neighborhoods. You look foolish. I may or may not have a right to say anything about it. I don't know. But I do know that I'm an American and I treat everybody the same. If I like you, it's because I like you. If I think you're an asshole, it's because I think you're an asshole. I don't look at color. I don't judge things based on color or ethnicity or heritage. It's not important to me. I like you because I think you're cool, or I don't like you because I think you're shit. So we gotta come to a point where we're all standing up and saying we're just people. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. We're all gonna do things that don't make any kind of sense on occasion. But we gotta get past the color thing. You're not black Americans, you're Americans. You're not Mexican Americans, you're Americans. You're not Asian Americans, you're Americans. We're not white Americans, we're Americans. We're all Americans. We're all citizens of a country. We're all citizens. We're all people. Stop getting hung up on the color bullcrap. And when something does happen to a member of your community, we all gotta stand up together and say, whoa, whoa. Why did this happen? Why did this go down the way it went down? Why did he not get medical attention? It doesn't matter his criminal history. It doesn't matter how he acted when he was arrested. None of that shit matters. The fact of it is that the dude needed medical attention, and he was denied that medical attention. We need to figure out why the fuck that went down. And then we can learn to adjust. And I don't know the ins and outs of being a police officer. I don't know what is acceptable in a situation and what is not acceptable in a situation, because everything is exactly that. It's a situation. It's situational. Something in this situation that you did might not be what you should do in a similar situation, that, you know, because it's different. Not everything should be done exactly the same every time in a situation. It has to be done on an individual basis, because That's the way life is. And we need to figure out why Freddie Gray didn't get medical treatment. Why is that? What was going on? I don't know. But that's the question I have. I mean, there's a lot of other questions too, but those questions are not as important to the wide picture of why the fuck was this kid not given medical attention? And if it comes down to the fact that he was arrested by a bunch of white dudes that fucking didn't want no black man being around no more, and you know, they fucked him up, and that's the way it was, and they were gonna let him suffer, whether or not you realize how bad he was beaten or whatever, what have you, doesn't make any difference. Dude needed medical attention, should have got it. Everything else is a non-factor until we figure that problem out. But don't go out and, when you get angry, don't go out and destroy your own neighborhoods and communities. Because like I said before, it takes away from your message, it takes away from your argument, it takes away from what you're trying to accomplish. It just does. It makes people look at you in the wrong way. It makes people think that all black folks in the inner cities are doing it that way. When they get mad at something that happens, that's how they react. And it's not how most of you react. It's just not. It's the few. It's a minority group. It's a minority group within the group. You know, it's like a small group of people that starts out small but then grows a little bit, but it's still the smaller percentage of people that's doing those things. But it makes all of you, it makes everybody that's fighting the fight look bad. You know, and I could live with losing the fight, but I can't live with not fighting it. But you can't put yourself in a lose-lose situation, because nobody wins when you destroy your own neighborhood. Nobody. Nobody. One dude's thoughts.